Did you know that shaking hands transmits more bacteria than kissing? Yeah, that's an interesting fact. I don't think it's as much fun. It's not how you want to end a first date, but it's shaking hands is a way. And in my job, I end up shaking a lot of hands. I meet a lot of people. It's a very social job, and sometimes I understand. I know some real germaphobes that don't like to shake hands, and I can understand. It's kind of like, nice to meet you. No need to exchange microbial flora. I've always been a science geek. I prefer the term enthusiast, frankly. I don't know why anyone should be mean like that, but I don't know. I always have been. I liked science classes, and I did my own extracurricular studies, particularly, as I mentioned in the show tonight. I read a lot of Arthur C. Clarke and Isaac Asimov, especially, and they wrote a lot of science fact. In addition to, they're known as science fiction writers, but they wrote a lot of Asimov wrote a lot of biology and chemistry, biochemistry stuff. Viruses are impressive. I mean, it is pretty amazing when you think. It's questionable that they're even a life form. They don't, they're in and of themselves independently. And then what they do is just amazing. The way they move into a cell and take over and change the machinery to its own purposes. It's incredible. It's like it's like under new management, your cells are hostile takeover. And it's like taking over the manufacturing facilities at Pepsi and having it crank out Coke. Or even weirder, like if you went to the Nike factory and started making Twinkies. If you could pull that off, that would be pretty amazing. Go to a Dell factory and start making Macintoshes. I went to the University of Texas in Austin, and I was in a liberal arts program. That's what my degree is just a liberal arts degree, but I was also pre-med. I thought I might go to medical school. In the end, I didn't. I changed my mind about it because by then I decided I wanted to do something I was interested in music or not comedy yet, but I knew I wanted to do something involving writing and creativity, although I really entertained the possibility of some kind of science career. But it was decided I didn't know if I wanted to be a scientist or a rock star. That was the thing, and maybe scientist by day, rock star at night. So diseases we can make fun of. I had pink eye once. That's not very threatening either. That's like the Shirley Temple of infectious diseases. It's non-fatal. It's mild. There's mono. Mono. What's that do? It makes you sleepy. Yeah. What's the cure for that? An alarm clock? Or moving back in with your mother? She'd never stand for that. Crabs. Crabs just sounds funny. You got crabs? Crabs are delicious. Get me a nutcracker. Where's the butter? Probably only funny if you've never had them. Legion. Then there's diseases that are so uncommon that it's probably not a very big risk to make fun of them. Legionnaire's disease. Do you remember that? How bizarre is that? It happened at a convention. All right. What does that say about the people you hang out with? That when you get together, a brand new disease breaks out. It's Jeff's fault, man. He never showers. I did a show here a year ago that was just an evening of science comedy. We called it Rational Comedy for an Irrational Planet. And the only theme was science humor. But they have a new exhibit here on infectious disease, and I was asked if I could do a significant portion of my show on that theme, which I didn't happen to have a lot of infectious disease material already written. So I had to write a lot of stuff specifically for it, and it was fun, and I'm pleased with the result. Some bacteria can reproduce every 30 minutes. That is hard to comprehend, especially for married people, whose rate of intercourse tends to drop off. They're lucky to even go through the motions once a week, let alone, reproduce. Oh, hitting a little too close to home, I'm sorry. It's fine when we were making fun of other people's infectious disease. I always thought it would be fascinating to see my sperm under a microscope, but now that I've told them, none of my scientist friends will let me borrow their microscopes. I'm a science geek at heart, and so some of my favorite things that I've written are very sciencey, and they're references that I couldn't even do. I do a lot of science-flavored stuff in my general nightclub shows. Virus walks into a bar. The bartender says, "We don't serve viruses here." The virus replaces the bartender and says, now we do. So I thought it would be easy to come up with material about the common cold, but you know what? It's snot. Good night.